गरीब जनता का बेस है। वो बेस, उनका जो बेस है एक प्रकार से कॉर्पोरेट्स का बेस है, तो उनकी मार्केटिंग एबिलिटीज़ हमारे से बेहतर हैं। हमारी काम करने की एबिलिटीज़, हमारी प्रोग्राम्स की एबिलिटीज़, हमारे कॉन्टैक्ट की एबिलिटीज़ उनसे बेहतर हैं। तो जनरली हर कैंपेन में नॉइज़ उनका ज़्यादा होता है। आप किसी भी कैंपेन को देख लीजिए, नॉइज़, आवाज़ उनकी ज़्यादा होती है, मगर जब रिज़ल्ट निकलते हैं तो दूसरी बात होती है। अगर आप सेफोलॉजिस्ट से भी पूछेंगे तो जनरली वो भी ये कहते हैं कि जो कांग्रेस का बायस होता है, गरीब लोग कांग्रेस को वोट करते हैं, कमज़ोर लोग कांग्रेस को वोट करते हैं, तो उनकी आवाज़ कम होती है।
Okay, that was Rahul Gandhi. A quick tease there, Dr. Lahiri. He's saying psephologists will agree that even the poorer people are voting for the Congress, and it's BJP, which is an urban phenomenon. When we look at the urban-rural divide, the BJP's penetration seems to be quite deep even in rural India. What are you making of this interview, and what are you expecting from it?
I haven't seen the whole interview, and I have to look at the numbers of the poor. But since the poor constitute the majority, if the Congress is very confident of getting more votes from the poor, then the Congress should do well.
No, not just that. This poll shows that in rural India, there's a 5% gap between the Congress and the BJP, and there's a gap between the BJP's popularity, Dhananjay, in rural India than in urban India, which means they're actually doing better in rural India than they are in urban India, according to your poll.
Yeah, and what Mr. Gandhi was saying is basically a classic bias that polls had for the BJP till about 5 to 10 years ago. But if you look at the last election, Congress did very well in urban areas. So that used to be a classic bias, which with these kind of vote share figures doesn't really hold
Shiv
up.
Vishwanathan, there's a lot of pressure on Rahul Gandhi to deliver. His first interview came in for a lot of negative criticism. From just what you saw so far, what's the sense that you get of the RG interview?
Look, there's a change here. This is a more mature, he's much more thoughtful. The body language is different. The sociology might still be flawed because the poor, in a sense, cannot be a frozen category anymore. But let's hand this much to him. Between the first and the second interview, I think there's a transition. This is a more thoughtful man. Maybe the prospect of defeat changes people for the better.